This right here is the Lexus RZ300e. It is a fully electric midsize crossover, and it has some of the most incredible MPGe we've ever seen. There is a catch, of course, as always, so let's get into it. Also, Jen is right behind the camera, and she actually has some pretty big news for you.
Really? You had to use the word big?
Well, am I wrong?
No, obviously I am rather large, newest TFL member coming in the fall. But let's get into the car.
Let's talk about the exterior. This color is kind of controversial. Some people love it, some people hate it, two of which are both here. I love it, Jen hates it.
It's a little too pink for my liking. It's like a salmon.
Well, I have no problem with pink. Let's take a little tour of the exterior here. So first of all, it has the classic Lexus grille. I think it kind of looks like a corset. It kind of looks like it's going like this, a little bit of a pinched nose situation, but that is kind of the style if you're into that. This is a bi-tone option, so you don't have to have the hood a different color as well as like the roof and the rails and the A-pillar and all that kind of stuff. Can't be the same color. If you want it two colors, that's a $1,300 option, which is kind of a lot. Let's see here, let's see. We also have the bi-LED headlights. I think they look kind of angry and sharp. This whole car is actually kind of given an angry fish vibe, if you ask me.
Angry fish?
Yeah. That is also an illuminated badge, which is a nice luxurious touch, as this is, in fact, the luxury trim. Let's check out the wheels. So on this one, we have the 20-inch wheels, which is not the only option. You can also get the 18-inch wheels, which helps your range just a little bit, but we'll talk about that later. Obviously, it is an electric car, so your port is right there. She's got the cutest little side profile. Like I said, very angly, very sharp, very fishy almost.
Very long in the back.
Yeah, kind of like she's doing this a little bit. Let's go around to the back, shall we? The taillights stick out a little bit as well. We also have these cool fishy zoinkers.
I mean, the antenna on the top, they call like a shark fin.
Shark fin.
But that's for an antenna.
Got it. Well, these are just, they're fins. They look...
It's for aerodynamics.
Yeah, the exterior is definitely giving luxury. It's giving like it's very refined. And like I said, I love the color. I don't know if, did I mention that it's called Copper Crest? That's the color. So Jen, when I think of EVs, I think of zippy. They're fast off the line. You know what I'm saying? Quick, as the people say in the car world.
You know, EVs didn't really start out that way, but they certainly have turned into that.
Really?
For sure.
Does this one live up to that?
Well, I mean, okay, so on paper, it's not the greatest. You know, it's only a single electric motor, front wheel drive, 201 horsepower and 196 pound-feet of torque. And 0 to 60 time is 7.8 seconds. There are far more other EVs out there that have better stats than that.
Sure.
However, in real world, this still is, in my mind, pretty, you know, what did you say? Zippy? Zappy?
Zippy zappy?
Zippy zappy? Snappy? Yeah.
Zippy zappy, snappy rappy?
Samsonite? I don't know. It still feels pretty good. So we're coming to a stop right now. Let's see what 0 to 60 feels like. I'm gonna just kind of go around here slow. All right, pedal to the floor. So we're at 45, 50, 60, there it is.
You're right, like in real life, getting onto on-ramps,
no
more
problem.
than capable.
Yeah, more than capable. No, it doesn't maybe like snap your neck back from the G's, but that's, you know, maybe not necessarily something that every demographic is going to be looking for, but this is still, like I said, in real world, very quick.
Yeah.
On paper, it looks not great, but in real world, that's great.
Yeah, it's comfortable. Like it doesn't, you don't get like yeeted into the back of the seat.
Exactly. And the handling itself is smooth.
Yeah.
It's like butter.
I feel very comfortable as a passenger too. I mean, like the ride quality is top notch, and it should be, right? Like it's a Lexus.
Exactly. That's what it should be.
So
like
they did not stray from that dedication to comfort and luxury.
No, and the handling is very precise. It doesn't feel, it's not so tight to where it feels like you're in a sports car, but this is a luxury car. It's supposed to have not so much, I don't want to say it has like a boat, you know, floaty type feel, but it feels relatively pretty responsive.
Yeah.
But just very smooth and comfortable.
Smooth like butter. Like that?
Yeah. Jumping into the RZ300e Luxury Edition. As you can see, the interior is pretty nice. It's got a nice micro suede interior for the seats, along with some leather trim on the outside and lots of different colors. So they do call this interior black, but as you can see in the sun, it is more blue, if anything, and then it has some accents of like a cream color. But I think it looks pretty cool. Mary mentioned she doesn't like that this dash is like pretty aggressive and looks like it's like attacking you, and I agree. And it's also weird that there's no glove box here.
Yeah, where's the glove box?
There's sans glove box, but you do have a nice little section down here, and we've got opening center console like such, which is pretty neat. But here I do like that we've got this like wood trim, so it's not a whole lot of piano black, which is like my arch nemesis, but we do have some piano black here, and as you can see, it just gets a little scratched. It's not my favorite type of material, but I'm happy to see that it's not at least everywhere.
What the heck is going on with this shifter?
Yeah, so that's also like my least favorite shifter I've ever seen. So as you can see, you have to push down to put it into a different gear.
And then twist it?
And twist, like, you know, a bop it. And then push to park up here. I don't like it, not even a little bit. I can wrap my head around like some of the dials where you just kind of have to give it like a hard couple twists, but this being like the push, I don't know. They're just, like I said a million times, they're reinventing the wheel. It doesn't need to be done, and it's just kind of frustrating. But
such is life.
Such is life, c'est la vie. We'll move on. As you can see, it is a massive screen. It's 14 inches. What you can also see is they took away my buttons. We do have actual dials, which is nice for temperature controls, but to adjust fan speed or your ventilated or heated seats or anything like that, it's all going to be through the touchscreen. However, this does have voice command, so while you're driving, you don't have to mess around with trying to find where it's located on the touchscreen, but you can just say, hey Lexus, turn driver's temperature to 74 degrees, and then it'll do it. Boom. That's pretty great.
What about the steering wheel? You were saying it feels kind of nice.
It does feel nice. I'm worried about the longevity of this material, if it's going to remain. It's like a incredibly like butter soft material, and I do like the buttons feel really nice. They don't feel like super cheap plastic, at least, which is nice. In the infotainment, we also have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is a big thing for a lot of people. Quite a few different USB-C ports and a wireless phone charger right down here. So we do have power adjusting seats, but one thing I really like is you have 3 memory seat adjustments, as well as power on the steering wheel, the heated steering wheel, and these are memory as well. Mary, there's one thing that I just cannot stand though.
The freaking handles.
Yeah, well, I guess there's a few things I can't stand, but these handles are an abomination. So it's really hard to even find this easily. You have to like kind of finagle your way in there, but it's a double, so you have to do it twice. And I will say I'm used to this on my old 3 Series. I don't like it, but I'm used to it. But at least the handle is a little bit easier to access. With this being so hidden, it's just kind of, I don't know. It's not my favorite design. Do you like it?
No, I've been in enough new cars to know how to navigate something that looks foreign to me. But I hate it.
Yeah, I have no love for it. We'll say that. So now that we're on the highway, this is a very smooth ride.
Very smooth.
And it has 2 things that I always need. Like, I don't need, full autonomous driving. I do want lane keep assist,
helpful,
and adaptive cruise control.
Also helpful.
Keep me in the line and keep me up to speed with traffic. That's all I need.
Yeah.
I don't need you to take me to grandma's house for me. Like, I'll get there. Just keep me on the road. If I sneeze or something. And
in my eyes for a second.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true. And again, expected in an electric car.
Exactly. Yeah. I will say, visibility, which is kind of to be expected out of a crossover, not the greatest out the back.
Shocking.
These like
the slope.
The C-pillars and everything in the slope takes up so much space that
it's kind of Smart.
You know, I've just got that tiny little window in the back, and visibility out the back is not the greatest. Up front is fantastic.
Huge windshield.
These A-pillars are quite thin, and I can see a lot.
You can also see the heavens if you so choose.
Oh, yes.
Check that out.
Yeah, so we've got dual sunroofs and the option to be opaque or not.
Yeah, go ahead and check
And
it out.
that is, that's like quite a difference.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's a very big difference.
It's almost like murky.
Yeah, it's a big difference.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
It's a nice touch.
You know, another nice touch, speaking of, is this also has a 10-inch head-up display. And it
Very
gives
nice.
me a whole lot of things. It gives me, you know, the compass, gives me how fast I'm going, and also gives me the speed limit. Tells me if I'm using any of the driver assistance controls. I've grown so accustomed to having a head-up display that when I don't have one, I'm like, ugh, I have to look at the cluster.
Yeah, it's a lot safer too. Back seat time. Okay, so this suede continues back here, and I will always have a problem with suede because I just think it will deteriorate and it will be a big bummer for the car in the future and the car's owners. But back here, it is very comfortable as far as back seats go. I'm 5'7", so there's, you know, a good, how much, 6 inches back here, roughly?
Yeah.
And then this, tons of headroom as well. You do have heated seats back here, which is nice. And you don't have temperature control, but you do have vents that you can turn on or off. The god-awful handles do continue back here, which I don't love, but you know, it's something that you would get used to really fast, so it's not really worth complaining about for too long.
Checking out the trunk space of the RZ300e. We've got about 35 cubic feet behind the second row, jumps up to about 55 cubic feet when we put that second row down. But let's check out what we've got underneath here. Survey says no spare tire. Let's see if there's one underneath. There is not. Typically, you won't find one underneath on an EV anyways, because that's where a lot of the battery is, the components. But no spare tire. That's always kind of one of my biggest issues with a car. I don't see a tire repair kit either. So that's kind of a downfall, but back here you'll find got a couple different charging cables, but no spare tire.
Now, Jennifer.
Yes, ma'am.
At the start of this short film, I said that this guy has one of the craziest MPGEs that we've ever seen.
I mean, it's remarkably high.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
What is it?
105 combined.
105.
105.
105 combined.
Mm-hmm. 114 highway.
In like 96 city, right? Or something like that?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
So that is
That's
more than you could ever want.
Huge plus.
Yeah, huge plus.
For
You're
owning
saving money on gas. That's pretty much the only thing that's good about that.
Right.
Well, it's an electric car. You're saving money on gas anyway.
Of course. I mean, and typically with electric cars, you're going to see a higher MPGE.
Right.
But that, 105 combined is pretty fantastic.
The downfall, of course,
There sure is one.
is the range.
Is the range, and it could be worse. This comes with a couple different trim levels, and this is the 300e, which comes with up to about 264 miles of range if you get those 18-inch wheels that you had mentioned before.
And 264 is not bad.
No, it's pretty comparable with a lot of its competitors.
Uh-huh.
However, this has the 20-inch wheels, which steals a lot of range, so we're looking at an average about 224 miles, which is still not terrible.
That's not terrible.
It's not terrible. If you got the
very good.
450e with 20-inch wheels, now you're looking at about 196 miles of range. Now it's on par with your Leaf.
Mm-hmm. Which is crazy.
And that is, to me, not great.
Nissan Leaf, Lexus, those shouldn't really be competing.
No, they shouldn't, but it's where we are. But the 450e also comes with dual electric motors and all-wheel drive, whereas
and
this
the 300e is just that one.
and this is just that single and front-wheel drive.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, so like if you're just north of 200 and you're knocking on the door of $65,000, guys, it's 64,300 something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like you should be baking some more miles into that price. No?
It would be ideal, but like I said, with a lot of its competitors, like the Macan EV, the Audi Q4 e-tron, the Tesla Model Y, a lot of those ranges are relatively pretty similar.
That's true. But the prices aren't. The Model Y is like, what, 45?
It starts at 45, can go up with performance. The Audi Q4 e-tron is around 50, but the Macan is more than this.
It's like 75 something.
Right. So, I mean, the more you bake in the luxury, the higher the price goes. But that's, you know, without saying much.
Well, right. I mean, the biggest bang for your buck is going to be the Model Y, because you're not paying a lot.
But Teslas are not luxury cars.
That's true.
A lot of people
true.
may think that they are, but it's just because they're expensive and they have a lot of tech does not mean they're luxury cars.
Well, and you know, with EVs, I feel like whenever you're sacrificing something to get something else most of the time.
Right. And that's going to be with like any car that you drive too.
True, especially with luxury cars.
Correct.
Yeah. So overall, I think it should have way more range.
The other downfall would be the charging speed.
How do you mean?
This is only rated up to 150 kilowatts, and that is not fast.
Okay. But again, if you're a Lexus owner or you're loyal to that brand,
you've been
chances
a Lexus
are
family.
Right. Or if you're an EV fan, you're probably gonna have a level 2 charger at home anyway if you're kind of dedicated to the luxury style. So that's not really that big of a deal.
No, and
I don't think.
And honestly, this is still a great car for commuting.
Yeah.
Or, you know, let's talk about demographic. Who is buying this? This is not necessarily like a young entry level into getting into the premium.
No, it's not
vehicles.
like Lexus. What's that?
No,
let's get the RZ.
No, to me, this is like, you know, your kids just moved into college.
Yeah.
Now you've got an empty nest. Maybe you can go down from the LX to the RZ and you want to try out electric. You know, this is, you know, empty nesters or, you know, someone who's a little more mature from that.
Yeah.
And honestly, I see this in like Florida a lot.
Okay.
Especially this color.
Yeah,
Very
and the front-wheel drive.
Front-wheel drive. You don't need all-wheel drive if you're in Florida. So the 350 or the 300e is going to give you more range, but you also don't need that all-wheel drive if you're going to be in Florida. So to me, this is empty nester, or at least someone who's a little more established in life. Yes, it can seat 5 adults, but I wouldn't necessarily consider this like the go-to family option.
Yeah, I would agree. And I agree with what you said about like this is not your first Lexus.
No.
Like this feels like it's you're a college professor of Lexus at this point.
You've been there, done that.
Yeah.
You've had a few different Lexus.
Uh-huh. You're loyal to that brand.
You're loyal to the brand.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, Mary.
Yes, Jen.
It is definitely a very comfortable ride. It screams Lexus as far as luxury
for sure.
And comfortability.
For sure.
The range is a little on the lower side when you compare to some of the other EVs that could get, you know, 300, 400, maybe even 500 miles of range. But when you compare it to its competitors, it's actually pretty on par.
Yeah, and for the size of its battery, it also makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, like you're talking like Silverado EV, something like that, it's like 400, 500 miles, because that battery is bigger than me.
Yeah, it's also a bit like bigger than this.
Yeah, it's so, honestly, like I know I gave the range a hard time, but like we said, it's for people who are probably recent empty nesters, who are loyal to the Lexus brand, don't have very far to go,
right,
but want to look cool if they have to go anywhere.
I think you're right. And I don't know about the look cool with the salmon, but you know, to each their own.
It's a beautiful copper crest that deserves, look at it, it's shimmering.
It certainly is.
The heavens heard me.
It certainly is.
I like it. I think it's a cool car.
I think it's a cool car too. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Check out alltfl.com for even more videos. This is Jen.
And Mary.
We'll see you next time.
Oh, and also, she's due in October.
You'd think it'd be earlier.
Well,